My name is Idris Matus Segawa, and today we are celebrating 36 years since the NRA's victory and takeover power. And in studio, I have Left Kano Ronald Kakurungu, acting spokesperson of the UPDF, to talk about this wonderful day. Kano, good morning.
Good morning, Idris.
What a day.
A good one.
We are celebrating 36 years.
Yes.
How do you feel that after all that time, where we are, how do you feel about that?
Very good, very good. That's why I'm even dressed like this. Because
and you're very smart, by the way. Very, very smart.
To go to Korolo and be part of the celebrations.
Yes.
Quite a momentous journey, which I think all of us as a country must appreciate and be part of. It doesn't come easy.
Yes.
Yeah, the people who are always reporting about things have been seeing chaos. Or even 2 days ago, there was a situation in Burkina Faso. There was some situation the other day in Chad, Mali, Sudan. Where here we have been able to, as a government, sustain these 36 years you're talking about. At least, yes, with challenges, but not very disturbing, like the rest of our
counterparts. Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
so there's something really to celebrate about. It doesn't matter on which side of the. I know. You see, it is called NRA Victory Day, and now some people want to associate it particularly with NRA, but this is a national event. That's why it is a public holiday. I'm sure if you are not in the media, if you're, for instance, in the public service,
yes,
you would be enjoying a public holiday.
Taking the day off.
It's a national day. Yeah.
Very true. Before we dive into the day and the past, there are some changes that are happening at your headquarters. Could you take us through some of these changes?
Yes, not many. Just yesterday, His Excellency the President and Commander-in-Chief made some appointments, transfers and appointments. One, he transferred 2 officers, no, 3 in fact. Major General Abel Kando was transferred from head of the Chieftains of Military Intelligence,
yes, to
head of the South Sudan Security Monitoring Mechanism. It was a swap. Then Major General Virungi was James Virungi, who was heading the South Sudan Joint Security Monitoring Mechanism, was appointed Chief of Military Intelligence. Then Major General Geoffrey Tumsime Kasigazi was Deputy Commander of the Air Forces, was appointed Deputy Inspector General of Police, and also appointed an officer from Internal Security Organization, ISO, Tom Magambo, as Director Crime Intelligence. No, Director CID.
Yes.
Criminal Investigations Directorate. That's all.
That's all. Yeah. And what do these changes mean for the future?
You see, the changes in the security, and anyway, in fact,
yeah,
I don't know why in the security agencies it comes like a big bang.
Because you're a very important sector of the country.
But even here, I think at NTV someone can be
reshuffled about
from being maybe a news reporter in charge of Western Uganda to a news reporter in charge of Eastern Uganda.
Yes.
Doesn't that happen?
It does.
Or someone in charge of editing news about international,
yeah, to
editing news about regional.
Of course.
Things happen. So anyway, and in our system, it's always normal. In fact, for us, what always told that whenever you're appointed in any job, you just start rating your handover report, because tomorrow other changes can happen. You can only keep updating and
moving here and there.
Yeah, but it's normal.
It's a normal thing.
Yeah.
Kano, you mentioned something very interesting earlier on, whereby that some people might look at today as NRA and NRM Day, but it's for the country.
Yes.
It's for the whole country. Could you talk to us about some of the things? Because Uganda is one of the countries that has the biggest number of its population of youth, young people. Most of them are probably even below 36 years old and might not even be sure of what was the intention, what are the reasons why NRA had to go to the bush and do what they did.
You see, the history of Uganda has been told and retold very many times. We don't have to repeat it here, but you know that our history is a checkered one.
Yeah.
Especially the political military history of the country. Cause and governance or failed governance and those sort of things. So this day that we're talking about today, the NRA Victory Day, is a day that turned around the history of the country, the checkered history. It was a revolution. A revolution means a turnaround of the entire system of something. And this is what we're talking about. You can imagine that Uganda, I think we were so unlucky. Right from independence, 1962, we had a chance of putting things together, but somehow things didn't work for quite some time. That's why I'm saying that the history of Uganda has been written and even distorted anyway by very many opportunists. But at least for us, we have something to talk about. So the 26th of January, 1986 is very important. That's why even it is gazetted as one of them. It's gazetted by Parliament, in fact, as a national day, because that is when the current leadership we have in the country, the national resistance movement leadership, came to power. And world over, some of these important days are commemorated. In fact, it doesn't have to be NRM, all through, even if it was any other government. But this day is important because at least we saw a fundamental change in the affairs of the country, in terms of health, education, infrastructure, peace and security. That's why, in fact, I even came with this book, because right from here, I'm going to Kololo, and I know not very many people will be there because of the restrictions. But there are some things that I'm happy with the people that have put together this book. There are quite some things that they talk about, which most of our people do not even bother to find out. Idris, they don't.
Kindly share some
As I was coming, I looked about. Just they put out just 4 sectors, at least for the purpose of this day. Economy. I highlighted some of them. Says, according to the recent World Bank report, Uganda's real gross domestic product grew by 2.9%, even when the country battled the effects of COVID-19 pandemic. Just that.
Amazing stuff.
Yeah, 2.9. When we come to, let me run quickly, education, they picked out important statistics, and the president has learned, I beg your pardon, the president has taught us to speak, because when you talk statistics,
And numbers.
Numbers.
It gives the
communicate
evidence
so much.
that people need.
Because in education, many people don't know, and our listeners may want, and our viewers may want to know that 92% of all parishes now have a government-aided primary school. 92%.
92% in the country.
In the country. 79% of all sub-countries have a government-aided secondary school, and all regions of the country at least have a public university. This is very important. So those days when we were growing up, everybody used to talk about Makere. It's no longer the case. We are saying all regions of the country now have a public university.
Yeah.
12 in number. Quickly, we come and say 42% of all districts have at least one government-aided technical and vocational institution providing various level skills. And they listen, UTC Elgon Lira, UTC Ushenyi, Bukarasa, Fermin in health. 86%. No. 5 was saying access to utilization services have a significant living 5 kilometers radius of health facility. At least 86% of the population in the country can access a health center within 5 kilometers of radius. That's quite something. And we're saying 19 regional referral hospitals, 147 district hospitals, so many things. I don't have to read all, but I mean, some of these things are, to some people, they may look like obvious, but they're not obvious. They take a huge deliberate effort to happen, and they didn't celebrate. Now, very quickly, let me go to my sect. Security. What are we talking about security? All these things I'm talking about, education, health, infrastructure, and what, can only be enabled by a conducive environment in terms of peace and security. Before we come to this, we're talking about some situations elsewhere. I can show you, Idris. Some of these things happen because of what the environment is here. You know, you are the people who make these stories and do this research and what. Okay, some of these things happen because of other support, maybe from donors, from investors, from what. But all those can be enabled by a conducive environment for doing them.
If you don't have security, you can't really
you cannot
make any development.
You can't. I want to give you an example that, for instance, now, UPDF is operating in the Congo, DRC. You have been.
We are aware.
Reporting about this Operation Shuja. Part of the one of the objectives of Operation Shuja is to secure the infrastructural projects of the road constructions between Kasindi, Beni, Butembo, and also the Bunagana, Rushuru-Goma, those highways. You know, they have been reported, but contractors are there, but how can they start?
If there is insecurity.
They can't start.
Yeah.
So you have been seeing these things, we've been having meetings, and we are now getting to that phase because we have sort of neutralized the ADF threat so that project can go on.
Yes.
So even our operation studio, you can imagine, is also aimed at securing that infrastructure program. So all these things we're talking about have also been enabled by our relative peace and stability in the country. I know even if you ask people here, there are not many, very many countries that can survive this time without peace and stability.
Very true. Even Burkina Faso, we were talking about before, why there is that coup, because the population was tired of the insecurity that was happening in the country. And congratulations to UPDF for holding out the security that we have in the country as far as now, 36 years later. Right about now, we are just going to take a short break. We shall be right back with the Kano to talk more about Liberation Day.
You're watching Morning at NTV.
There's a new look to beauty, elegance, freedom, style. Now available in the new look of the Radiant Hair Relaxer with herbal extracts and no base formula. Designed to make your hair look straight and elegant as you look beautiful and in control. Available in all stores, outlets and salons. Radiant. Look good. Feel great.
Radiant is a brand of Morbid products.
Yes, sir.
36 years, UPDF. Some people might say you are no longer a people's army. What do you say to that statement?
No, we are, considering we are, and by practice and in all the ways we are a people's army. Uganda People's Defense Forces, it's not just in words, but also in actions, and we must, and have always been seen to be a people's army. In fact, as we commemorate this day, just tomorrow we are going to launch another important event in the history of this country.
Yes.
Another anniversary of an event, which we call Taresta. You must have heard about it. The 6th of February. The 6th of February is the day when the then National Resistance Army, now UPDF, actually was born. But for us, what we do, and you put a very good question at a very good time, is that about 2 weeks preceding to the 6th of February, we do what we call Defense Forces Week. We just call it Army Week. Now called Defense Forces Week, because the Constitution changed from, and the Act from Army to Defense Forces. But then we are National Resistance Army, now we are Uganda People's Defense Forces. So Defense Forces Week, immediately after the culmination of this NRM Liberation Anniversary, then we start the Army Week. So from 27th, in fact tomorrow, we have already even sent invitation. The NTV will be part of it.
We shall.
Product will come to Mbuya. Shall have a national launch, and we do it on a rotational basis. To try, not try, I'm using, not try, but to consolidate our strategic relationship with the people and the communities, because the army cannot be without the people. So we go to every region over the country on a rotational basis. This time around we shall be in the Elgon region,
Yes.
Eastern Uganda. We do civil military activities in terms of health, education, sanitation, environmental improvement, community awareness, political education work, a lot of sports events. For you, in the corporate world, you call it corporate social responsibility, giving back to the people.
To the people and being part
You
of them.
understand, you know the work we do, it cannot be possible without the grassroots people. Right from the inception of the NRA, I've told you that our history is so checkered, and it has turned around. I don't think that it will be possible, for instance, to say that even call an officer here, he comes and starts talking things and questioning things here and there. Those days, I don't think it was supposed to be this. So, some of those small or big things that have contributed to our growth and development as a military and even as a country, we recognize them in very strong spirits. So, coming to our being a people's army, yeah, we're there. I think we are. And you, not only here, but in Uganda, because we have done a lot of work here. We have been able to sustain peace and security for quite some time. And because of that, we have built capacity over time. You have known about the professionalization and modernization of the military.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just in words, it is in action. We have seen these things. We have been doing a lot of work elsewhere in the region. Somalia, we're there. Central Africa, we're there. South Sudan.
Yes.
Liberia, Equatorial Guinea. Now we're in Congo. I told you about Operation Tutu. NTV has been there. They have heard a lot of stories about operations in the Congo.
We have.
And we have seen, even there, wherever we go, people are like, yes.
We see you, we see your impact.
Your reporters here, me, I was there in Congo, Operation Suja, I was there. Your reporters came, they interviewed some civilians in the Congo. We are not the ones who told them to go and interview them. They went on their own. Sudiri Warang and I think Kawesa came. They were there, they stayed with us for quite some time, about a week. They fed their stories and we were happy with those stories. So, but the only problem is that what we have as a weakness always, not as UPDF but everywhere, people think that people will be seen by their fruits. It's not enough. Some people think you must talk about these things all the time, and indeed we must talk about them because some people may not know about them. And it's not their fault. There's this old adage which I've also refused to agree with, that people should not blow their own trumpets. But I think we should.
Definitely.
Because if you do not blow your own trumpet, and ultimately nobody blows your trumpet, and your trumpet is not blown at all, so whom are you going to blame for your trumpet not having been blown?
And even your impact, so all the things you're doing, no one will know about them.
We should talk about these things, and people should know them. We should write them everywhere, and that's why we acknowledge your partner, and we always want to continue making this statement that we're still there. And we're still working with people. You're working with us. We're working with you. Like even inviting us here, very important.
It's very.
It's a big statement.
Yeah.
You could have invited other people, but you chose to invite people. It shows that our partnership and strategic relationship
is ongoing
with the civilians and with the public is superb. Yes.
Well, Kano, to your critics, the people who say that your overt role in civil service politics is a negative to the development and future of this country, what do you say about that?
You see, the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, which all of us go by,
yeah,
every law-abiding citizen really goes by the Constitution. And our Constitution, under Article 209, mandates us to, among other things, support, I may not quote exactly how it is, but if you interpreted it, the legal brains will tell you that it mandates the Uganda People's Defense Forces support other civil authorities or agencies.
Yes.
In any situation, really. And also, the President of the Republic of Uganda and the Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces has the prerogative to appoint, in fact, any person to any
Position.
job. Yeah, to any position. It doesn't have to be military or police or civil. He can appoint anybody. That's why even he has the prerogative to appoint people who are not, they are not MPs, they can appoint them to be ministers, you know what? Other constitutions don't allow, but our constitution does. So, members of the UPDF or members of military in Uganda are still citizens of the country.
Yes.
And they enjoy the same rights as any other people. So, if the president picks on, for instance, Idris from NTV, it doesn't make a story. But if he says Kakuru has been appointed permanent secretary, I don't know why.
Yeah.
But
You're
I'm
important
also Ugandan.
Yes.
Also subject to and also I should enjoy any other opportunities like any other Ugandan in terms of appointments and what all those presidential appointments and what it should be okay. And also it should be looked more especially in terms of service delivery, really. Because if the president as appointing authority and in most of these positions they are talking about, if he deems it fit that this person can improve some service here, why not? And in fact, he does know that whoever we have been assigned to work, we have not disappointed. You have been seeing our work. Operation Wealth Creation, Uganda Revenue Authority.
Yeah.
Do you remember something called the Special Revenue Protection Services?
Yes, yes, I do.
Very many people initially said, no, but they fixed a lot of things there. Immigration, you go there and see.
And again,
Do you have a passport?
yes, I do.
You have one?
Yes.
Has it expired?
No.
When is it expiring?
I think in 5 years from now.
Okay.
I renewed it.
But is it the new one? Or?
Yeah, it's the East African passport.
But do you know that it takes so quick to
very
get the
good.
passport?
I think like 2 days, and you have your
that
passport.
nonsense of middlemen and
Yeah.
what has been removed. Why? Because some services is there, and we are proud to be also lending hand in that aspect. And many others. So,
Yeah.
but over and above, may I look at it from a bigger perspective? Should not just tie it to that they say the military. Anybody can be called on to duty. The only difference we have is that for us we are taught and trained in terms of flexibility. Flexibility, and we're all round.
Very true.
So, other than saying, you see me, I am an economist. So when you tell me to go and start doing some work about policing, I cannot do it. For us, that is not there. And it's a big resource for the other ministries, departments, and these of government to tap from,
because you're ready to go at any time
and take.
Yeah. Talking about projects and transformation, Kano. Over the years of your transformation, you as the UPDF have built a financial behemoth called Wazalendo. Tell us about this SACCO and why is it now open to the public?
You see, Wazalendo SACCO was started as a SACCO, like you know, SACCOs, Savings and Credit Cooperative Organization. Because we had a huge problem of how can our personnel be able to sustain themselves outside work, outside the real formal employment and salary and what, especially the service personnel and their families, because you know we really don't have a lot of time to be there to do some things. So it was started in that kind of spirit, and I know even other organizations have similar schemes. You could be having something at the national media, I don't know what you call it. Police has something called, I think, what do they call it? They have a SACCO. Prisons have, and it's all over.
Yeah.
Now the spirit was that also it's a welfare aspect, so that members of the defense forces and their families, the Ministry of Defense and also the UPDF, members can be encouraged to save and also borrow cheaply. But over time, I realized that we have grown big. I think it's the biggest SACCO in the country and one of the biggest in the region, in fact. So we think we can open up to the public and operate like any other business. In fact, we had also wanted to become a bank.
Brilliant.
But there are other procedures that require being a bank. But straight to your question, we're opening up to the public, just like, because it is a public limited company, and it can open up and sell shares to other people who are interested. They come and they can bring in other expertise and
make a contribution towards
and at the end of the day, our objective is the same. Because some of these endeavors and initiatives are ultimately building to a bigger goal of the entire country. Such a goal of the country, because if we are saying we have people, so many, they have so much money, and you can also come into it and also save with us, and also be able to borrow cheaply, and be able to use that money and do something
more.
Ultimately, all of us together can
unfortunately, I am being told you needed somewhere else, and I should let you go. Just one small word to the people about Liberation Day, and I let you go.
Thank you very much,
NTV
and the national media, for inviting us to be here on this program this morning. We are celebrating the 36th NRA Victory Day, and our theme is celebrating the 36th NRA Victory Day, a call to duty for all compatriots to contribute towards Uganda's socio-economic transformation journey. Very important. Contribution to Uganda's socio-economic transformation journey. It's a journey.
And it's still continuing.
All of us should at least be able to come and be part of it. Thank you very much, and we're there. I'm going to Korolo.